All right, all right. So, when you following Christ, you trying to live your life as a believer, and as a Christian, you can affect people in two ways, and your job is to affect people in two ways. Jesus said to go out and make disciples of men. In other words, go out and help transform people into following him. He also says, let your light shine so that people will see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So you can directly interact with people, or you can indirectly interact with people. You can go up to them and touch them personally, or you can let them see how you operate. Either way is fine, but one is directly and one is indirectly. Well, the devil tries to operate the same way. Now we know he wants us dead, and he wants to see you drugged down to hell. He wants to see you get dragged down to hell with his angels and ultimately get thrown in the lake of fire. That's what he wants. And there's proof of that in the Bible, that is what he wants. In the Bible, the very first interaction that Satan had with humans, he made that clear that he wanted us to die and that he wanted us to go to hell. Because see, God told the humans, don't eat off the tree. If you eat off a tree, you're gonna die. The first thing the devil says is, go eat off that tree. The very first interaction he had with us was to cause us to die. Now, if you live a life that's not obedient to Christ, or not obedient to Christ's teaching, not obedient to the Father, then when you die, you will go to hell. So the devil wants us to be disobedient, and he wants us to die. So like I said, he wants us to die and go to hell. His minions work the same way. They want to see you dragged down to hell. Now, Jesus gives an example in Matthew chapter 13. He gives a perfect example of how we interact with his word. He gives a parable about the sower and the seeds. Now, in that parable, the seeds get dropped on 4 different places. And he makes it clear that the seeds are the word of God. Some fall on good ground, some fall on rocky places, some fall on thorns, and some fall by the wayside. Now, the ones that fall by the wayside, they get picked up by birds as soon as they drop. When Jesus explained this, he said, these are people that hear the word of God, and then the devil comes in quickly and steals it away from them. Before it could even take place, before it could even take root in their heart, before it could even do anything to them, the devil comes and takes it away. And there's people like that. There's a lot of people out there like that. They hear the word of God and they just don't believe it. Don't give it a chance. Some kind of lie from the devil comes along and makes them think it ain't true. See, those were the kind of people that Adam and Eve were. But then you got the thorns. Those are basically people who really, they don't care about God or the devil. All they care about is the love of this world. That's what Jesus said. It was the thorns were like the luxuries of this world. And it choked the word out. You know, they probably would follow God, but they love money too much, or they love sex too much, or they love sin too much. They love the world too much. So it puts the word of God in a chokehold and chokes it out. Then you got the seeds that fell on the rocky ground. And see, them are the ones I'm talking about the devil minions who can drag you down. That rocky ground, that's a place where there's no soil. And see, Jesus said in those cases, they heard the word, they received it with joy. But as soon as trouble came, as soon as temptation came, they fell away. You see, they absolutely wanted to follow God. And they're happy to hear about God. But when trouble comes, they fall away. Those type of people can drag you down. You see, and they don't do it. Some of them don't care. Some of them do it on purpose. Some of them don't. Remember I said directly and indirectly? You got some people who every time they get mad, they want to blame God, or they get mad at God every time something go wrong. Why did God do this? Why did God let this happen? Why did he do this to me? Why this happened to my family? This, that, and the other. You ever been somewhere, like at work, or like at a party, or just at your house, and that one family member, or that one coworker, or that one person come in, everybody having a good time, and that one person come in, and they in a bad mood, so they ruin the whole mood of everybody? You ever work with somebody like that? Y'all at work chilling, doing y'all job, talking, having fun? Excuse me. Then that one person walk in there, and the whole mood just changed because of the mood that person was in. See, that's those type of people. They'll drag you down with them. That person who every time something goes wrong, that person breaks down. Every time. They could be talking about God all week long, but as soon as somebody die, or as soon as they lose their job, they go to shambles. And there's nothing you can do to help that person. You ever dealt with somebody like that? Every time they get their heart broken, you just can't uplift them. It's like you jump into a pit of quicksand trying to pull somebody out, and you just can't. That's that person that every time something goes wrong, they shatter. See, that's what God was talking about when he said seeds falling on the rocky ground. And they may not intend on bringing you down with them. It may not be their intentions at all. They may just can't help themselves. Some of them just so fragile, so weak because they have no roots. And that's how Jesus explained it. They have no roots. As soon as the sun come out, it scorches them, burns them up because they have no roots. People like that, you cannot help them until they mess around and get some roots. Until they let that word take root, you can't help them. There's nothing you can do for that person. So people like that, and I know a lot of the messages I've been teaching, the last messages have been along the same line. But people like that, you got to avoid them. And I know God has been dealing with me on these videos about what kind of people to avoid. Now, you can be friends with them, but when they get in that mood where they broke down with something that happened, that's when you stay away from them. You see, if I got that one friend and I know every time something go wrong that this person finna go down in the dumps now, I'm gonna stay away from you until you start to feel better. And when you feel better, then we can talk again. Because you're not about to drag me down with you. And like I say, they do that directly and they can do it indirectly. But you cannot let people drag you down with them. And see, those are the ones that they represent the seeds falling on the rocky places. To me, those are the ones that are most dangerous to us because they appear to be one of us. They appear to be one of us. You can sit there and you can call them every morning and talk about the Lord, and they'll be just rejoicing and doing all this and that, but they have no roots. They're not really one of us. Every time something go wrong, they're a different person. See, somebody like that is dangerous to us. Think about it like this. I can buy flowers and place them all over my living room, find vases and put them in vases all over my living room, and they could look real pretty, but it ain't gonna never, they're never gonna live. They're always gonna die. They're always gonna die. They're not like flowers, like these flowers over here that are planted in the ground. And see, those are the, when Jesus talked about the seeds that fell in the good places, because they're gonna grow. So you're gonna know if somebody is a good seed or if they got some roots, because they're gonna grow. You're gonna know if somebody is good ground. The seed is the word, but you're gonna know if somebody is good ground because they're gonna grow. You're gonna see some type of flourishment. You're gonna see that. But for those who are on stony ground, the stony ground people, you can talk about God all day long, but it's never gonna be more than just a conversation. Do not let them people drag you down with them when they go through their spells, because the devil is going to keep attacking them because he knows they have no roots. So that's all I got, man. Avoid those type of people when they're in those situations, because you can't help them. They have no roots. You cannot help them. All they can do is drag you down with them. And don't let nobody come between you and the kingdom. That's all I got, man. Love y'all. Be blessed. Be watchful.